If anyone can guess what TV show my shirt is from, I'll be your best friend. I've got some Your Next stamp products to play with today. This one is called Happy Hour. I have the stamp set and the coordinating dies, and my stitched rectangle die, second from largest. This is how I typically start my card videos. I have this panel, and I'm going to place it on a Simon Says Stamp Fog card base. And I've got this piece of Simon Says Stamp SLATE cardstock. And I've seen Francine Volume, as I'm probably not pronouncing that correctly, but she's on the MFT design team. And I've seen her create like a tabletop scene with using these edge dies. So that's what I'm trying to accomplish today. So I'm taking my panel, which is my background, and then I'm trying to use one of these scalloped edge dies from MFT to create a tabletop scene. This looks too wide to me. This doesn't look as good as I think it could be. So I'm just gonna cut it down again. So I'm gonna place it back on my cardstock and take a little bit more off. And I like it much better at this point. I think it looks more like the corner of a table. So I have this Tailored Expressions Sprinkles embossing folder. I think it goes really well with my card scene. So, and I like it. It's pretty. So that's what I'm using. But it is sprinkles. It's not confetti, but it looks like confetti. So I'm breaking out the Misty, and we're going to stamp this sentiment, and I immediately regretted stamping it where I placed it. I don't know what I was thinking, but I'm prepping my piece of slate with the EK Success powder tool, and I'm stamping with Versamark ink to heat emboss with Hero Arts Ultra Fine White Embossing Powder. I really need to learn to take more breaks when I do these voiceovers. Anyway, I'm using Hero Arts Ultra Fine White Embossing Powder to heat emboss my sentiment, and it's just slightly off center, and I don't know. But I've got this piece of Neenah 110-pound cardstock, and I'm trying to decide with my thinking face. I'm such a goober. Which drinks I want to make. So my idea for this card, okay, was to stamp the images and color them as if they were empty, like after party or during the party kind of thing, like not freshly made drinks. So I grabbed my Memento Tuxedo Black marker, and I was going to use the brush tip, which is one end of this marker, to only ink the parts of the stamp that I wanted stamped. And I knew this was dumb, like right away. This was dumb. This is going to take too long. So then I grabbed my Your Next Stamp Black Olive ink, and my idea is to stamp ink all of the stamps, okay? And then I'm going to use something I used to use at work, a micro brush. They're really tiny brushes that we would use to apply different types of materials. Or we can take it away. So I grabbed a micro brush, and I'm taking my time, just wiping away the lines that I don't want stamped. This is very precise and exact, but I took my sweet time doing this, cleaning the micro brush in between removal of the lines. I did leave one glass to color, but I stamped it, and guess what? Yep, I took too long, and it looked like this. This is terrible. So this will not do. So I re-inked, but this time I made sure to do it much, much faster. So now that I have it all ready to stamp again, much faster, it looked like this. And I can deal with that. That's good. We can do this. So I'm just cleaning off my stamps and getting prepared to stamp some of the accessory images from the set. I have this little piece of ice, and a straw, and I'm just trying to add them to make the images more interesting because they're going to be empty. So I go to stamp the ink on, and I couldn't find the ice cube that I just put on my piece of paper or in my MISTI. And I found it right there, and you know that thing was going to be gone forever, okay? That was a miracle that I just found that. Because if that would fell on the floor, oh my gosh. So I inked again, this time with my ice cube, and trying to make sure my paper's on straight so that I do it once. But look at how cute that little ice cube is. So I'm just going to clean up these smaller images, accessory images, and we're going to try to fix those lines that didn't quite stamp as well as I would have liked. So the Memento Tuxedo Black marker also has a fine tip end, which is good for this technique, but I knew that was too thick for me. My go-to is the Copic Multiliner. It's like 0.03. It's the smallest line I think possible. That way, if I mess up, I can kind of fix it. So that's my go-to Copic Multiliner. Small, small, small. But I'm just using it to go over these lined images, and then I got to this little confetti ribbon piece that I wanted to use, and it was just too far gone. I just couldn't. So we decided that we were going to restamp that one. If you want to skip ahead, you can skip ahead to 7 minutes and 40 seconds, and you won't have to watch any of this coloring. But I'm just using my Copic markers to color these images. These images are going to, in my mind, they are empty. They have been drank. They are gone. The people that are, their owners are out dancing or something, whatever. They have been deserted. And so that's what I'm doing. I thought, in hindsight, I thought maybe I should have put like a little bit of residue at the bottom. You know how your wine glass always has that little tiny bit that you cannot get out of your glass? I sound desperate. But so that's what my idea for the card was. So that's what I'm coloring. I'm trying to do one glass of wine that has either been freshly delivered to the table, or you know, that one person that always leaves their drink. Yeah, that one. So I've got that piece of ribbon stamp that I want to re-stamp because it looks disastrous. I wasn't sure what happened until I noticed this. I did it. I totally ruined my stamped image with my hand, my sweaty palms. But, you know, that's the great thing about stamping. We can always have another one. These are the coordinating dies for that happy hour stamp set. And then I realized that I stamped this straw in this glass and I'm going to have to fussy cut it. I tried to bewitch it, which didn't work. And then I realized that I was just going to have to sit there and fussy cut this image. I got the rest of them out with the coordinating dies, thankfully. I hate fussy cutting. So I begrudgingly am cutting this glass out. Painstakingly cutting this glass out. This is so boring. You cannot even watch this. So here's the image. Clearly been fussy cut by me. And I'm putting a piece of white craft foam around that front panel that or the back panel that we embossed with our embossing folder, sprinkles. And then I'm adding some scrapbook.com double-sided adhesive to put it to my card base with a nice popped up little bit. This embossing folder is graduated, like it has like more sprinkles on one end than the other, but I think it's okay. It still works. And then I've got some Scotch 3M foam tape that I've put on the back of my tablecloth. And I'm adding Ranger Multimedia Matte Liquid Adhesive from my syringe here onto the rim of my margarita glass. It can be sugar or salt. I like my margaritas on the rocks with extra salt. So now I am staring at my project, wondering how to arrange my glasses. So I've cut very thin strips of Scotch 3M foam adhesive on some, tape runner adhesive on some, like the tall beer glass is in the back, tape runner, you know, this one is popped up with 3M foam adhesive. And I just kind of worked a scene using those two types of adhesive. Some of the areas of the glasses were double foam tape because that sentiment is popped up. I hate where that sentiment is. I want to move it, but I cannot. He is totally always trying to get in my videos. I totally saw him, by the way. I'm ignoring it. So now I am using some Nuvo Crystal Glaze. And this was an afterthought, clearly, because I already stuck my accessories on. So I am putting a little bit of this. This material is a little bit liquidy. So I've found that putting a fair amount in the center of the image and then using a micro brush. I use these micro brushes, y'all. I reuse them, okay? So I put a fair amount of material on the inside of the image and then use the micro brush to draw the material out towards the outside lines of the image. And that way it gets a fair coat of material. This is a lot of material on these glasses, so it's going to take forever for this to dry. So I do not have any live footage of the finished card. Do you like how I propped up that little drink umbrella so it wouldn't touch my Nuvo glaze? But I do have some stills and I will leave you with those. And I thank you for watching my videos. I am so very appreciative. We've had a busy week here at our house, so up next is just a small amount of playtime with Dexter.
No choice. I can't. That might get my star. The story ain't good fun.
What you doing?